What's up guys, VitalSyntax here, and as you probably know, Endgame, the last DLC for Battlefield 3, is coming out in a month or so in March, and I wanted to go over some of the things that we already know about the DLC that have been talked about by DICE and some of the trailers that they put out, and also talk about the future of Battlefield 3 as far as seeing patches and seeing as this is the last expansion pack, what the future of Battlefield 3 is going to be like over the next couple months. So first, let's go over the new game modes and the new maps, new vehicles, all the new stuff that they're bringing in the Aftermath expansion pack. So the two biggest things in my book are the new game modes and the new maps. So there's two new game modes, both Capture the Flag and Air Superiority. Capture the Flag is pretty self-explanatory. You'll have two teams. Each team has a base with a flag point, and you obviously want to grab that flag point, take it back to the base. I'm kind of curious how they're going to work with the point system, the XP system, if you get points for returning flags, or if it's instant return, if you have to actually carry the flag back to your base, or if you just touch it, does it go back to your base, or does it go back after a set amount of time, things like that. Kind of curious about the balancing, but Air Superiority is something that we had in some of the older Battlefield games that's kind of returning, that I think a lot of people are excited to try out. I'm not a huge air type of player. I don't use jets or helicopters all too much, but I am kind of excited because I think that'll give a nice change of pace to my gameplay and play style and everybody else that's playing it. So Air Superiority essentially is like Conquest. You'll have flag points, but instead of them being on the ground and have flags at them, they're going to be blimps that are floating around on the map. So that's a really cool concept that I think is definitely going to be something that we can play around with. And you'll capture those flag points, hopefully, probably just by staying around them. Obviously, the capture radius is going to have to be pretty big if you're flying a jet, as those things go pretty fast. And we don't know exactly all the specifications on how many flag points are going to be, how many jets per side, but I think it's probably going to be somewhere between 8 and 12. And that's probably going to be on consoles as well. I would imagine if they had 12 jets per side, and if you had 12 people per side, I don't know, that might be a little bit too much. Maybe each person shouldn't have their own individual jet, because I do believe they're going to have two-seater jets, and I don't know if that's been confirmed or not, but from some of the trailers it kind of looked that way. So moving on to the maps, there are 4 new maps. We only know the name of 2, but they did say that they're going to be a year-round type of design to them. So they have each map for each season of the year. So they have a map that's dedicated to the fall, which is called Operation Riverside. There's one that's called Sabalon Pipeline, something like that. That's the winter map, or the snow map. So we will see another snow map. We did have Alvarez Mountain, although that was kind of half snow, half forest. And we don't know what the other 2 maps are, but one of them is going to be set in the summer, one of them is set in the spring, so those will be interesting. Hopefully we'll see some more information about those in the future premium videos or trailers that they release just on the public Battlefield 3 YouTube page. Now, I'm also kind of curious about any other types of changes, patches that might make to the base game, because typically with the previous expansion packs that Battlefield has released, they release some type of update or patch that does weapon balancing, or maybe fixes bugs, maybe changes some of the vehicle stats or equipment or things like that around. So I would hope that there be some last minute changes, because this may be the last patch that we see. Obviously, it's the last expansion pack, but it might be the last patch that we see for Battlefield 3. So, and I'm not saying it is, but there's a good chance it might be. So that might be, the way we have Battlefield 3 and after this Endgame expansion pack comes out, might be the way that it's stuck forever. So hopefully they can do kind of, there's so much stuff that I wish was changed. It's all kind of very minor tweaks and changes. There's nothing really game breaking in Battlefield right now, but I would hope that some of the bugs and some of the balancing was addressed in this alongside the expansion pack. Alright, so there's also new vehicles in this expansion pack. We've got a dropship, which is going to be really cool. It's actually different than the AC-130 that we had in the previous expansion pack. But you're actually going to be able to parachute in from the dropship, as well as parachute vehicles in. I believe it's only going to be the light infantry fighting vehicles that will be able to parachute in from that. You probably can't, drop a T-90 or any other heavy vehicles, but that's a really cool concept that you'll be able to, drop friendly vehicles from a dropship. That's just a really awesome idea in my eyes. And you'll be able to capture the AC-1, or not the AC-130, sorry, the dropship, by probably controlling some type of flag point. I think in some of the previous trailers on the minimap, you could see there was a flag point that if you captured that, you'd get access to the dropship. And that flag point is probably going to be somewhere in the middle. It's probably the B flag, just so that it's always kind of balanced on which team you're on. And people are always fighting over control of that flag. Now, on top of the dropship, we've also got dirt bikes, which I think everybody's kind of excited for. It's going to be kind of a similar experience to the four-wheelers, the ATVs from Battlefield Bad Company 2, but I think they're going to be more fun. I think you'll be a little bit more maneuverable. And they're two-seaters, so you can actually have one guy driving, one guy on the rear shooting rockets or shooting a machine gun or something like that. And it looked like from the trailers, unlike Bad Company 2, you can actually do a full 360 while you're on the backs of the seat, so you can actually shoot in front of you. I remember playing Battlefield Bad Company 2. You can only shoot out back, like 180 degrees out back. You couldn't shoot forward where the driver was going towards. So you'd actually have people with ATVs just driving around backwards so you could shoot from it. And then the last thing I want to say is, so far there's no confirmation of dinosaurs. Obviously, you haven't seen anything about that in the trailers. Kind of unfortunate. I always kind of wish there was some type of dinosaur expansion. And Endgame kind of, for a while, people were thinking that it was going to be some type of dinosaur expansion, but obviously not. So anyway, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.